Hey guys, what's up? It's me, Joel D. In this video, we're going to talk about building out your first blog post. And this is one that gets me really excited because we're getting to that point where we're starting to get over the structural setup of our site and we're going to start executing on things. So this is one of those rinse and repeat processes where you can take your learnings from what we do in this video, and then you're going to come into certain circumstances where you can iterate your process, make it a little easier, streamlined, so you can start scaling up these posts. And I'm going to walk you through every single step. So after this video, you should get a good sense from beginning to end on how I'm creating my articles and how you can do this in a nice organized way, in a structural way that's going to get you, again, a lot of content on your site quickly, so we can start, really sharing our content and getting people engaged. So here's how the steps are going to be rolled out. First, I'm going to choose a topic from our keyword tracker that we were using in the beginning. We did do that for a purpose when we were doing our keyword research. So that's already in the back of our minds on some of those keywords that we saw that were lucrative, but we'll make a final decision on. And what I would want you to do is pick 5 different topics and create 5 articles, but I'm going to do one obviously with you in this video. But I would want you to get 5 up at least by day 30 of starting this course. So we'll start with 1 in this video, but again, try to think of the first 5 articles you want to write. Next is we're going to create our outline. So we already have our structure in place. This is why I do things up front. It makes things easier, makes things scalable, and it just makes things more efficient. So once we find our topic, we're going to create our outline and develop the titles and the inner H2 tag titles as well, and H3s if we can. Again, this is up to you in the long run, but for this purpose, I'm going to do those to give my writers a good idea of how I want the site structured and what the main themes are within that article, so they don't have to go from scratch. They can really bear down and focus on the content that I want. Next, we're going to write or outsource your main copy. So I'm going to outsource. I want to show you how I do that. So using the templates that I showed you in the last video, where I reach out to third-party people, I'm going to do that from scratch without anyone I've ever used before, just to show you how I kind of do this within the tools. And I still haven't decided. We'll think of that when we get there, whether or not we use Fiverr. I'll probably just stick with Fiverr. It's one of the easier ones, but you can do Upwork. You can do again a bunch of other tools, so we'll get into that. And then I'm going to show you a little hack that I use with Grammarly. So I have a paid Grammarly account. I'll link that. I'm going to link everything in the description below, but with Grammarly, it's a really awesome tool. I mean, it helps with your writing, especially if you're a blogger that maybe not be the most technical, or and when I say technical, meaning knowing the full spectrum of writing or copywriting grammatically. This is such a helpful tool. It's going to give you suggestions. It's going to fix any simple mistakes that you may be making. Just makes your articles look more professional. Again, I'm not writing them, but it's a hack that I use where, one, I can check to see, it gives you all the data on the article. So when someone sends me stuff back, I can put that in here. It'll give me suggestions or what the grading they think it is from a written standpoint, but also you can do a check to ensure that there's no plagiarism and that kind of good stuff. So it's just a good little hack that I use. And if I'm writing, I'll write right in there a lot of times and create my article within Grammarly, and it just keeps me on track. It's a really cool tool. So I'll show you how I take other people's content and put it in there. Then we're going to go back and forth potentially, make any necessary revisions with the writer, and then we're going to finalize our article and start plugging it in. So we're going to create that post from our template that we already have, that we're giving our writers the outline for, and then we're just going to simply, once we finalize the article, be able to get into the system, duplicate our template, fill it in as necessary with the content that we've received, and also finding imagery. We could outsource that as well, but for this video, I'll probably just use some stock imagery, which is fine. I don't want to get too in depth with outsourcing, but again, Fiverr or those tools, there's so many good people out there that can create content for you cheap, that if you want, you can utilize those tools. And then we're going to publish our first article. So I'm really excited about this, and this is really going to just set the tone for what we've been doing. I mean, you may have thought in the background, because the first videos that we set up, I'm trying to teach you how to do these things right, as opposed to a lot of the courses who just go right into, yeah, create your WordPress site and put an article up. And that's really not what you want to do, because you're not going to get results that way. You need to do the due diligence up front. It's a pain, I get it, but in the long run, if you want a successful business, you want a successful blog, that's what you need to do. There's no shortcuts around it. Most people who create courses and instantly have you go set up your WordPress site without even knowing what your niche is or doing any sort of research is setting you up for failure. And all they're really trying to do most of the time is create that quick affiliate commission from a hosting service. If you ever notice, if they bring you right to Bluehost and say, hey, we want you to sign up for, do this really quick, no matter what, even if you don't have a clue on what you want to create, it's just a red flag. So don't do that. We've already gone through this process, and I know it's been a long kind of process. It's hard work, but at the end of the day, you're going to get real satisfaction out of it if you're building it on your own and you know what you're doing. So that is the setup. So first things first, we are going to start by going back to our keyword tracker and choosing a topic. Okay, I've hopped over to my keyword tracker. Yours is probably more built out than this, and you should be putting notes in, so hopefully it looks better than this, but I already knew what I wanted to do first, because I saw this initially when we were creating our tracker, our keyword tracker, and that's dog with anxiety separation. So there's 22,000 searches per month. There's a $1.25 CPC, and there's a 31 difficulty level for SEO for ranking. So I like this article, and I'll probably incorporate a lot of this stuff in there with low SEO as well, to kind of get derivatives and more traffic sent to my site as well from dog anxiety symptoms, dogs with anxiety symptoms, etc. So you'll see how I build this out, but I'm going to start with dog with anxiety separation, and I'll take that from there and come on over to Uber Suggest and put this back in just to remind me what I'm looking for in this keyword and what I want to do. So let this pull up for a second. It's already showing me some statistics here on who's ranking, which there is some competition up here, but you can see that most of it is their high domain score websites, so they're getting ranked easier. But we can definitely sneak into sites like this, and you can see people making moves like that John Knows Dogs. We've seen that article. There's a couple others in here that are sneaking up on page 2 and 3 that are probably making their way to page 1. So dog with anxiety separation, 22,000 searches, 31 SD. This green means good, by the way. And then we can start looking at suggestions around it, so we can incorporate a lot of these derivatives into our article. I like to filter, as you remember. I'll typically put paid difficulty, or actually I don't put that in. CPC, I'll put in $1 at least, make sure it's a lucrative keyword. And then SEO difficulty, I'll usually put in a max of 50 or 40. I'll stick with 40 just to make sure I'm getting really good keywords. So let me click apply and pull these up. And what I'm going to see is everything under 40. So everything from an SEO perspective and having potential to get ranked for these words is high, meaning I can make some traction there. And again, they're very similar to my main keyword, and I can incorporate these into the article as well. All right, so I'm going to take these and I'm going to export to a CSV. Open that up, and now I'll have specifically for my article these to work with. So I'm going to use that. And again, this is a free tool. I use the paid version of Ubersuggest, but I like to show you all the free tools because I do use a lot of paid tools, but I'm not trying to sell you on those. They're awesome, and as you go on, I do recommend you upgrade to paid options because you're gonna get to a point where you need more statistical validation on making decisions. So definitely don't be against paid tools. Paid tools help you. I mean, just make sure you're getting the right ones and making sure that you're getting your ROI from them. So here's our starting point. I'm gonna utilize now our tracker for our outline. So now that I have, step one was to find my topic. I already know that's dog with anxiety separation. That's my main key phrase. Now I want to start digging into creating our outline. So I'm going to come out and I'm going to use the Excel file that I created instead of the Google Doc because this one's just easier to show you here. There's less logistics to, I mean, it's easier, I think, in the long run, but for this, it's just going to be, let's give them a template here. But once I build that relationship and I have a working relationship with someone, I will send them over to use the Google Doc because it's just more interactive. I don't have to wait for them. I can see if they're making revisions. I can see where we stand in the process, and it makes it easier on them as well. So they don't have to send you anything. They're just creating. It really helps everyone out. So once I determine that a writer's a good fit, that is the process I use with them. But at first, a lot of times I'll just use a spreadsheet. But again, if they can add this and not have to copy or insert or attach a file to an email and send it back and forth, it's so much easier using the Google Doc. But okay, so here we go. I'm in the title. Here's our example from the template we created, how to prevent dog anxiety for any type of breed. I'm gonna just plug in first that main keyword that I had, which was, I didn't copy it correctly. So dog with anxiety separation, I'll just type it in to remind myself, dog with anxiety separation. And we want to come up with a good title. So one thing I like to look for is in Ubersuggest, you can come down, and I'm going to go back to the overview. And in overview at the bottom, the first thing I did want to show you is this is great. So as you can see, all of this is desktop searches. That's what we want. We want something that has high desktop searches. People are more willing to, engage on desktop and take action and order stuff or buy stuff. So we always look for desktop volume to be higher than mobile volume because mobile is more just passive. They're scrolling through, they're not really taking action. Desktop volume means like you're sitting at your desk and you're looking specifically for something, and you're just in a better mental state to make a purchasing decision. But if I come down, I can see these articles, and all I want to do is start looking at kind of how people are incorporating this into articles. So dealing with dog separation anxiety, rescue dog with separation anxiety, gets her very own therapy kitten, dealing with dog separation anxiety. So how to help, how to, we like the how to, and then there's people even in the how to, they're gonna, instead of using how to, like 12 ways. So this isn't a ranking list like when we use 9 best dog separation anxiety tools, and they're using 12 ways. This is just another way to utilize that how to long form informational article template that we could do. So we could do something like this. Just start thinking through some things on what you want to do. So this one's getting a ton of social interaction. It has a lot of backlinks, and it's just dealing with dog separation anxiety. So we'll come back into our template, and we'll just say maybe 11. I like the odd numbers, as I talked about, so maybe 11 ways to deal with dog anxiety separation will be a good start. So we may change that if I can't think of 11 ways, but I'm gonna start with 11 ways to deal with dog. Actually, I do want to keep this exact phrase, so I'm gonna say 11 ways to, and this is where you're just gonna be creative on keeping this this phrase intact. You could iterate a little bit and you could still rank for this and use this as your main key phrase, but I like to have the exact key phrase. It's just what I do. So 11 ways to help your dog with anxiety separation. To help a dog. 11 ways to help your dog with anxiety. Yeah, perfect. Simple. All right. So here's going to be our topic, 11 ways to help your dog with anxiety separation. And now I'm going to be telling, so this is already in there for my writer. I'm going to mention all of this in the write-up that I'll share with you later to request content, but I'll just let them know, hey, I've laid this out. Here's my title. Here are my steps. I need you to fill in the blanks. So I need you to create the intro. I need you to create how to accomplish these steps, and then I'll figure out what the word count or should be within there, or I could give them a total word count and have them kind of add as necessary with them doing the research. Sometimes that's easier because they're doing most of the research for you and finding some may have longer content than other bullets. So that's the first thing we do. We have our topic, we have our title, and we're on our way now to fill in our outline. But before doing that, I did see one little tweak I want to make to this title, and I didn't want to use anxiety separation because I saw a better keyword and a better way to phrase this. So if you notice, the second option is a little more lucrative. It's a higher CPC. People are spending a little more on it. The paid difficulty is less, and the search difficulty is less. But there's just one small change. So instead of dog with anxiety separation, it's a dog with separation anxiety. So I'm going to change my article up to meet that. So I'll come back in and click 11 ways to help a dog with separation anxiety. So separating that, a little less competition, and it's as simple as that. You can make tweaks like this that can go a long way. Not saying there's a huge difference or you couldn't there's no guarantee there. That's just what I like to do. I just see a little opening and I try to expose that from the data. I'm a data person, so whether or not people will tell you that means nothing, I disagree in the fact that if I see data that shows different, I'm going to go with that. All right, so now we have this set. Now we want to start tackling our main outline, not worrying about the main text, but just the outline of the article. So I'm going to next go to the terms and conditions title. So in our example, it was 3 steps to free your dog from anxiety, and this is basically just labeling our list. So we'll just incorporate something similar to our article, but a little different. I'll toggle back and forth and use a derivative of this. So maybe I'll use that first one now in here. So dog with anxiety separation was what we used. So I can say, I always start by putting it in there and then kind of tweaking a unique title around that. So this will be an H2 tag, dog with anxiety separation. And again, we're just setting the tone for search engines to see everything is related to this separation anxiety within dogs. And we're not being, keyword stuffing, mentality where we're just putting that same keyword. We are going to distribute this a lot, but we don't want to make it too vanilla looking and like we're trying too hard to accommodate for SEO. We want to make it come natural. So 3 steps to free your dog from anxiety. So what's a similar thing? We're going to have 11 ways to deal with this. So our top 11 tips I don't want to use the word cure, to cure dog with anxiety separation. So our 11 tips to help your dog. So we're using your instead of a. Yeah, that's fine. So we'll stick with this. 11 ways to help a dog with separation anxiety. Here's the intro. Now labeling our tips or our table of contents. Our top 11 tips to help your dog with anxiety separation. That's good. Next, now I need to figure out what the 11 tips are. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually create a bunch of these steps, which I'm going to call them tips now. So tip 1, tip 2, tip 3, and then I'm going to lay out each of the H3s that I want within these tips. And by the way, I have no experience with dog anxiety symptoms, so this just goes to show you that a lot of people are doing this. They'll find lucrative keywords. They're not the real expert, but again, the writers that you get will, and you'll see this when I look for them, they have specialties in themselves, so they're really the experts. I'm the voice or the focal point for this article, but they are experts. I could keep their name, so I'm not saying I'm the expert, and it's still, similar. They're just part of my team, or I can have them be my ghostwriter and I can be the face of the expertise, but really I'm just driving things and pulling levers on the back end side to get this content in front of people. I don't want to give them false content. I want to give them legitimate content, but you don't even always need to be the real expert. You can utilize your strengths to bring a team of experts that give this content to people. So just a heads up on that, because I do this for a few of my sites where, again, I'm more of a serial blogger, I would call it, and you can create microsites because Google loves that, and this is a microsite. So again, I may just try to see what I can do with this while I'm building it with the course. I didn't plan on doing that, but now that I'm thinking about it, maybe I'll just build it out like I typically do and share results. But again, this is a micro niche, so it's a really good thing because the whole website's going to be based around that, and search engines really like that lately. So getting over to this spreadsheet, I've added an additional tab, and when I'm doing a long article and I'm coming up with 11 tips, sometimes 27 tips, I like to break that out because with tips, you're either giving someone something to help the situation or to avoid particular things within the situation, which is also helpful. So I always break it out into 2 columns. One is what helps and what doesn't help. So then I'll just start building a list based on articles that I find too. So I'll go back to Google, I'll search for competing articles, see what are common topics within there. So one for helping is everyone pretty much puts causes. What are the causes for separation anxiety? And I can see why they do that because there's a lucrative keyword indicator in there. Begin to treat. They talk about the treatment for separation anxiety. Exercise is common or calming treats, medication, leaving out clothes. Almost every article had put something like that. So there may be something out there. I haven't done the research on that, but that may be a common question. Is it good to do that? And then what doesn't help: punishment, getting another dog, crating, leaving on the radio or TV noise. This was in both. So some people would say this helps, some people would say it doesn't. So that's one that you could either, if you were the expert, you could give your scenario on whether or not that helps or not, or you could just leave it out altogether. Obedience training, because it's not really being disobedient. There's so much you can learn so quick that honestly you could probably become an expert, the amount of research that you would be doing anyway. So I'm going to jump out to an article that I found doing my research in Google, and it was related obviously to separation anxiety, but it's set up in a very similar structure as to how we set our template up. So I did want to walk through this, and it's another good idea when you're generating an overview and an outline for your article to go into your competitors or whoever is competing for this keyword, go into their articles and just look around and see what they're doing, again, from a structural standpoint and from a monetization. So I can see in here, it's a 1,600 word article. I could definitely compete if I have more information. It is set up in a very good structure base. That's why they're ranking well. They have their H1, H2, and they're hitting on those questions that are common. What is separation anxiety in dogs? How to stop separation anxiety in dogs, etc. What are the signs? What are the causes, like we talked about? And then breaking it out into 10 steps. He has 10 easy steps to help with separation anxiety. And here are the steps, all in H3 tags, so that's good. And then he's got a few more H3 tags down here. So very good setup. And what you can see is he's already linking in his own blog. So he has some internal links. He is also linking inside his own blog. So he's got another internal link, 3 internal links within his first introduction. He's got ads, as we can see. So he's placing ads on his site for monetizing. He has a picture. Then he breaks down, like I said, the FAQs first. He has, again, a lot of internal links. So he's really hitting on his own content, which is good. And he's breaking everything out. So the more information you have, the better. He's talking about, he has articles to stop dog barking, stop dog howling. So he's hitting on every single intricacy of dogs, and separation anxiety is one of them. And then he's interlinking, and you can see he's doing that because if he can get people to get exactly the information they want, the more likely they're going to be to convert, because you're going to see. And then he has these read mores, which we'll probably add by the end into our template, because I did want to do that, something that is more obvious, like read more. Here is a big article we want you to read, signs and symptoms of separation anxiety. So he broke that out into its own article. I think what we could do to compete is add something like this into the same one and have a really long article. So long form articles are performing really well. I noticed a very big trend in search results that there are some articles out there, 5,000 words long. Not so much in this niche. So I think if we can hit on that and really create content, keep going back to it, adding to the article or articles, you're going to get some good boost in SEO. He talks about the causes. He's adding videos, and these are not his own videos. So he's just incorporating some YouTube videos. It looks like it's from Nat Geo, National Geographic. So he has a couple of things like that in here. Being alone, another article, calming treats, and now you can see he's starting to get into more monetizing. So this is actually going out to Petco, and maybe he has an agreement or an affiliate account with Petco, not sure, but I know down below he's got a few because he's using Amazon. Another picture, he's got his list, incorporating images, incorporating video. YouTube likes all that from an SEO perspective, and people like that because they can engage better. It's not just reading long text. So in your long form articles, it's great to incorporate this throughout. And let's see what else. Another article, internal linking. Petco is an external link. Maybe that wasn't an affiliate one. That was just potentially a do follow link. Because again, for affiliate links, you don't really want to keep follow on because it's just monetization strategy, and you're telling search engines that's the case, and they don't want to follow that because it may not be as related as they want it to be. Crates, they talk about crates, pet camera. That's again his own. Another video, article. He's doing a lot of that. And this is an external link, so this is just to actually a competitor probably of his, thebark.com. So that's also good. It's just giving, he may have a relationship, so you're gonna want to build relationships with even your competitors. You guys can, it's blogging, it's a little different when it comes to competition. You're not always competing in the way that you would if you were selling your own software or something. a lot of bloggers are helping each other out, you know, with backlinks and getting themselves both to get better rankings. So they work together. You build those relationships up. Then he starts talking about medicine. And this is when he starts getting, again, down the page. Once you're getting all this good info, you're engaged, you're passing all the other, you know, articles you may be interested in, that also I can almost guarantee you he's got something in there for monetization for all of them, because he's setting this up in a great structure in what I would, you know, what we're kind of striving to do with our blog. And then he gets into Amazon affiliate stuff. So get a Kong toy. So he's still pitching and giving good advice, and now he's starting to incorporate some product into it. A dog swaddling jacket. Yep. So shop for anxiety treatment pet supplies. Get this Kong toy, get his swaddling jacket, and he's not doing it in a big way. He's got internal and external links up top. So these kind of just blend right in, but they're switching over to monetization. And he's trying to earn income this way, which he's probably doing a good job. And even within this, there's an article, so the same paragraph that goes internally. Now, this shop related products is an Amazon associate specific widget and embed code. So he embedded this in, and you can do that. It's really easy. I'll show you how to do that as well. So you can put in a keyword basically in, and you may not even have to, I forget how this works, but basically I think you put a keyword into Amazon and pull out the embed code for related products, and you can place it right on your site. So it'll find anything that's related to what your article is about or the keyword that you're ranking for. So you can see these are all related. That's the Kong toy, it's the jacket, a couple other things that he's mentioning. And actually I think they give you the option if you want to select the products that you want. So we'll look into that. Get a pet cube. So he's got his own, looks like he has his own mobile app, which is awesome. So he is really crushing some monetization. This is good. This is one of the better ones we've seen, because he hits on a lot of the things that I want you to do. So he's got affiliate in there, he's got ads in there, he's got his own product in there with a nice CTA, order pet cube. Go down, an infographic. People love infographics. He's hitting on, maybe he took my course. I'm thinking this guy took my course. No, I'm just kidding. But no, this is, again, it's becoming standard, but a lot of people don't know. And the only thing he's not doing that I can see, and it's probably because he has his own product, he's doing that instead, is going into other reviews. And maybe some of these links were, but I didn't see it. Like if he created his own top 10 list of a particular product, he could probably get more people clicking on those links to monetize his site. So this is great. And what I like to see here also is look at articles, and then without having to scroll down through the whole article like I did, if you download this free Chrome extension SEO minion, you'll have access to their tags. I would just click on this and look at their H2s and H3s and see what they're including in there. And then you can start building out your long list of tips, because here are 10 tips that I could kind of leverage if I wanted to. Again, don't copy anything exactly. This is just creating value and utilizing resources elsewhere. So, okay, I'm gonna hop back over to our spreadsheet and start building out and finalizing those tips. So when we come back over, I'm gonna show you one more thing that I do. So once I start building these out, I'm just gonna put generic tips like exercise, calming treats, medication, etc. Then what I do is I go back to my content, no, sorry, not my content request template yet. I'm gonna go back to my keyword template, and what I'm gonna do is look for stuff like that. So when I talk about exercise, I'd look through my keywords for exercise. When I talk and I have something for medicine, I'll look for the good performing medication for a dog with separation anxiety, and I try to incorporate these as well into the H3s. You don't always have to. If you saw that other article, he's just listing out simple steps 1 through 10. But the way that we can do this, and Yoast will give us some feedback too if we're overdoing it or underdoing it. So it doesn't matter the way that you start off. You can either just keep it simple or overdo it, and Yoast is going to tell you how to make adjustments. So that's kind of how I take this. Why I like to do this though is you can keep this simple at first or more complicated and incorporate these keywords into the structure, but just make sure it's clear whichever way you choose, that your writer knows exactly what to write about. So again, I build that list out of, and I could probably just bring it right over in here. Maybe I'll do that. I'll just take this, it's nothing formal, and add this over here. And now I have my helps and doesn't help little items here. So I'll do this, and now I can just kind of look. I'll keep building upon this, and I'll do it offline so I waste a ton of time on this video. But what I like to do again is look at these and try to assimilate them to something that we already have over here that could potentially fit in, because remember, this is exactly related to our main key phrase. So the closer we are to that, the more likelihood that Google's going to notice what this is about, which I don't think they're going to have a problem with figuring out what this article is about. But we do want to really key in on that key term, because that's the lucrative key term that we found. Now what I'll do is come over here and I'm going to paste in my top 11 topics or tips that I've come up with. And I did this offline just based on the helps and doesn't help columns mixed in with the keywords here. So I would compare, maybe know what causes separation anxiety. I changed that into dog separation anxiety. Begin the treatment of separation anxiety. There was a key term, dog with separation anxiety symptoms. So I utilized that, where I'm going to, by tracking dog with separation anxiety symptoms. So we start off by knowing what the causes are, and then tracking those symptoms, and also helping our dog with separation anxiety treatment. So once we know the causes and we identify and track the symptoms, we can start treating the dog, and then getting your dog some exercise. And then I get into some of the treatment options. So exercise, I get into, this one wasn't obviously related to any of these terms, but here, stop creating a dog with separation anxiety. So I saw, a lot of articles out there that were talking about creating doesn't help. So I'll go with that, because it's related to another keyword that was in here. So creating a dog with separation anxiety, it's basically almost a question or how to, and I incorporated stop creating a dog with separation anxiety, because a lot of the articles that I found were showing you how to stop that or don't do that. But we could go either way depending on your experience. So do some research. This is just, again, you want to do this in your own niche, your own topic. I'm just showing you kind of how my thought process works when I'm creating these. Then treat your dog with separation anxiety medication. So dog with separation anxiety, dog with separation anxiety medication was over here. So right here, dog with separation anxiety medication, this one, 1,300 search results, 36. So we can rank for that. We could actually do a complete different article like the other man was doing for his blog. He had everything broken out into barking and howling and how to stop that. We could do something similar. And what we do, and why I create this big long list first, is because while you're coming up with a lot of this, you're going to start identifying areas where you can build upon that. So when they get to the article that's that long, lengthy how-to / you're getting a bunch of tips or learning how to do something, you're going to find opportunities to branch off and then create full-blown articles where this, for instance, the medication one, is your key phrase for that article. And we're not we're not just looking at separation anxiety in dogs, we're looking at separation anxiety medication for dogs. So it's different, it's a different article, and it's a different focus. So we can start branching off from there, including in our reviews and rankings and single product reviews. So as I get down here, find toys for dogs with separation anxiety. So the term was over here, toys for dog with separation anxiety. So just trying to incorporate something that makes more sense, like finding toys, or find something that you can use in addition to the keyword itself that makes sense. So in this case, I'm going to have my writer figure out a little snippet of finding toys for dogs with separation anxiety and which ones help. What about dog separation anxiety CBD? So I have another keyword here, dog separation anxiety CBD. It's pretty common, and I've noticed this in a lot of articles, so I do want to mention it. And then I can just pose the question, what about dog separation anxiety CBD? So I'll have my writer, draft up something that, and what are the pros and cons maybe, etc. Those could be some of the bullet points. And if you notice, I didn't do the H3 list because I'm going to give my writer some, and I do this a lot with H3 tags. I'm going to give them some lenience to take these topics because this one's so long. I don't want to come up with 30 different items. If you're doing like a top 3 list, maybe you want more control and you can say, hey, these are the bullets I want to hit on within this niche or within this topic. But for top 11 plus, it's good to give them some free reign. And then what you do is, if you don't like the bullets themselves or the H3s that you plan on using as H3s, then you just add your own after, and we'll see what they come back with, and then we can adjust accordingly. What else? So toys, CBD, leaving out clothes that smell like you. Every article that I read had that, so I'm going to keep that in just in case there's a phrase around that. I still didn't really do too much due diligence or research around that, but I'm assuming that, so I'm going to keep that in. And then audiobooks and music for dogs. So music for dogs with separation anxiety was the keyword I saw over here, right here. 170 searches, really simple. So there's probably not much content on it. Maybe something I could write a full-blown article about later, like how to utilize music for your dogs with separation anxiety. But I saw a lot of use of audiobooks too, so I kind of combine the two, but I also have this phrase in here. So audiobooks and music for dogs with separation anxiety. And again, these are just iterations of the main key phrase that are going to help us bring in traffic that's related, and that could be just as effective. So, if someone's looking for music for dogs with separation anxiety, that probably means that, they would probably want to read an entire article about tips to help that dog with separation anxiety, because they're looking for something specific. It doesn't mean that they don't want to read the whole article. And then avoiding punishment or getting another dog. So I liked those, and I think it would be a good thing to sum up, and it kind of brings back reality of, don't just throw away your problems and try to solve that by getting another dog. So I saved that one for last. And that's really kind of the thought process I have when I'm creating these articles. What I'll do now is take this top list. I'm going to draft up the little write-up for requesting content or requesting an article, and we'll use that template and then just fill this in and say, here's what I need. I need content around these 11 topics. I'll figure out a word count on how many total words I want, and then maybe, give some estimates. Here's how I'm looking for it to stack up from a word perspective, 250 here, 150 here, and I'll figure that out as we go. But this is how I do my initial draft for outlining my article. And again, sometimes I'll add H3s. So if I were to do that, I'd have those H3s just as a sub bullet within each of these, just laying out the structure. But I want to give them some room for creativity. All right. Now I'll head back over to my content request spreadsheet. And what I'm going to do is just make some quick iterations to this. So if you remember, we said we're not going to give them each bullet. We're going to give them a little leniency here. So instead, I'm going to delete this. And now I just have step 1, and I'm going to change the intro to just step 1 content. And you can see it's still the same kind of description, explain the importance of the step, and I'll just add including bullets, numbered lists, etc. as you see fit, and how it relates to accomplishing the goal of the blog topic or headline. All right, so now we have just a simple, I'm going to get rid of step 2 because I'm going to replicate this first step and make it really easy for the writer. Again, not everything, when I say to set everything up, and I'm glad we're doing this, because when I say to set everything up, it doesn't mean you have to go exactly by the book every time. Take your judgment, whether or not, how much control you want in it, and then adjust accordingly. So right now I'm just saying I don't care about having that much control over this article. I want to give you the layout and the steps, but you work within the steps. I'm not going to tell you each bulleted item, which I could, and I've done many times. That works pretty well too, but it depends on the type of article. So I'm going to go ahead and paste here. So if I just take, oops, sorry. So I'm going to first add a row, and there you go. So all I did was copy this, click in here, and then I just keep doing that. So that's 2, right click, insert copied cells, step 3. Don't click insert. I always do because this is what's going to happen. See how I just added 1 row? You have to, every time when it comes over, recopy it, because it will just enter a row. So I'll just recopy, insert copied cells, and it automatically highlights this. So then I just Control C again. And you want to click in here as well, not over here, because these are merged cells. Again, if you're even using this document, which you can create your own, you kind of get the point, but I just wanted to show you everything that I'm doing. Oops, sorry, so I didn't highlight that again. So how many are we up to? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll go the lazy man route, do 12 and then delete 1. So now I got the whole thing. Insert copied cells, delete 1 of the steps, and now I have 11. And then I'll just label them. 10, 9, 8. So it's a little more work up front, but this saves a lot of time. You're giving them clearer directions. You're going to have less back and forth. They're going to have a nice structure to go from, as opposed to if you want to go the other route where you just say, hey, I want to create an article based on dog anxiety separation, go for it. But in my experience, it's always better if you give a little more direction up front. 3, 2, and 1. And I won't even add this. I'm going to delete all of this because they're going to get the point with just the first one. It'll help clean up the article a little, and you can just see here's an example and directions. So here's step 1. I need step 2, and I'm going to start filling that in now with the items that we've chosen for an outline. So I'll toggle back over to my other spreadsheet, grab those. I'll just add them here for now, and then I'll take them and I will copy and paste them in the appropriate spot. So here's step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, all the way down to step 11. And then I could also find 2 FAQs before I send this off, and I just allotted for 75 words within there. Again, not characters, words. So I just broke this up, and within the email or letter I send for the request, I'll just say that these can be changed if you do 101 and one bullet needs 200 or whatnot. They'll have that flexibility too. I also added this word count option here just to sum up the letters and make sure that I'm gonna look for a 2,000 word option for creating my article. So again, if I were using all of these words as well, this would be pretty far down just with title. So it's good giving them as much as you can and in using all that you want on the actual content that you want to get out of them, instead of just doing stuff that you may probably change anyway because you have an idea of what these keywords are that you want to rank for. So okay, and before thinking that that was magic, how I just copy and pasted that and updated my entire spreadsheet, how I just did a video cut. So I did that offline quickly and then came back, so you didn't have to just painfully watch me copy paste things. So having said that, so now that we've created, or we've determined what our topic is, we've laid out the foundation and the outline, we brought that outline into our content request tracker where we can get that after from our writer. Now we need to draft the message to get this project underway. So next, I'll just come over to my directions tab, and I'm gonna just pull this, copy it, go to a Word document or what other text editor you use, and I'm just gonna paste this plain text. Now I have a quick little outline of what I'm gonna send them, letting them know to pick it up immediately. If you have any questions, let us know. Then I can talk about the overview if I want, giving them the topic, which I want to come back to my other sheet and grab all of the top 11 list. So I'll copy and paste that, and this is just a good thing I like to reference right in there. It gives them an overview. So I'm gonna put this in the about, and then I'm gonna highlight this all and number it so it just shows them exactly what this is about. I'm gonna go to home, number, there we go. And what I do now is the topic or overview is the title of the article. So I can go into my request, and here is the title: 11 ways to help a dog with separation anxiety. And usually I'll just put in some other snippet. So creating a dog, what I'd like to do is, hi, I'm looking to create an article, the topic above. And you could also, after you're done drafting this, save another template that if you plan on using a lot of this, and then you can just update the header after. But I'm doing this from scratch. So do not pick up this order unless you can work on it right away. Here's an overview. I can bold it if I want. 11 ways to help a dog with separation anxiety. I'm looking to create an article around the topic above. I need, and I'm actually going to specify a 2,000 word article around this, the topic above. I need an intro to the article and 150 words, approximately 150 words per bullet below. And also I've attached my spreadsheet for you to add content copy in the appropriate places. Something simple like this. I mean, and if they have questions, you can reach out, but basically you're just saying, hey, I have this request, please work on it immediately. If not, please pass on it, because the option I'm going to use is Fiverr, and you're going to basically place a request, or you could reach out to someone specifically, or text broker. I may use them. I've had good luck with them as well. We'll see what has a better offer. And when you're putting this request in, you don't want them to work on it if they can't work on it immediately. So if that's what we first say, and then I just give them a quick overview. This is the topic we want to discuss. I'm looking to create a 2,000 word article around this topic, and I need an intro to the article in approximately, or actually I could even specify even more. Again, the more specifics, the better. So I need an intro to the article, approximately 200 words. And approximately 150 words per bullet below. I've attached my spreadsheet for you to add copy in the appropriate places. And then also I'll have FAQ 1 and FAQ 2. Q1. You know what? I'm going to keep FAQs off there, and I'll just do that myself. It's only an easy answer I can find on Google anyway. So the purpose of the content is to help dog owners manage their anxious dogs by providing them with tips. The target, I mean, you can, or you don't really have to use this. I'll just say men and women around 35 to 55 years old. Voice, first person, because we want to be the expert. Style and tone, fun and conversational, or this is kind of a serious matter, so maybe not too fun. So what else do we have? Personable and informal. I like that one. So we're going to be personal with them and informative. So we're giving them good value, but we're also personable. We have some personality in there. Formatting included in the template. But what I could do is I could put bulleted lists, numbered lists like we did. Short paragraphs definitely, because we didn't really hit on that too much. I talked about it briefly in our overview, but we are going to want to break up, if they are long paragraphs, we'll break those up. Even though it's not grammatically correct, blogs are better to be read in short paragraphs. So bulleted list, numbered list, HTML, I'll remove that for now. Short paragraphs, hyperlinks, call to action. I'll get rid of this. We'll add those ourselves. And I'm not going to use meta info because we've pretty much done a lot of that, so we can create something on our own. But again, if you wanted them to, you could just add some text, 200 words, or give them like 150 is the amount you should use. Please do not include, we'll just remove this. There's nothing I can think of right now. And then additional guidelines or resources. Example articles. Maybe I'll pull in that article we looked at earlier. So here's a good one to provide them with. And I'll say here's an example article that I'd like to surpass with more info and helpful tips. And provide them with that. It's just something for them to look at. By accepting this order, you agree that I may name myself and or others as the author, and including any modifications or derivative works from such text. Here's not the, I'm gonna get rid of this. And this isn't the because we don't know necessarily who this is going to be, I'm not going to start talking about, you know, their following. Maybe I can do some research after I know who I'm working with, and if they have a large following and I can find that, we can talk, you know, about next steps of working together and using them kind of as a partner in the sense that we really like how they write things. We see that you have a good following, a good base. What do you think about working together in a way that can help each other out? I can provide you with X amount of work or articles per week, and maybe you can share this on your social platforms. Maybe we can work other things out on, benefiting each other. So I wouldn't start with that in the first article. You don't know how they're even going to write. You don't know if they're actually going to do it. So we'll start with this. Very simple. It took me a couple of minutes to draft. We already had most of the stuff in here. Here are the topics. I lay this out so he's not confused when he looks in the document. The document's going to say fill out anything in yellow, and he's going to see that the topic above them are all these 11 topics. So very simple, and that's all we have to do. So now I'm going to take this. We already have our document for the tracker, so I'll just put this in its own. Right now I have it in my template, so I will put this in its own Excel file, and I'll send them both to them. So in the next step, we're going to just walk through the tool that I used, or a couple tools maybe, just to look at the differences. And I'm going to find myself an author for this article. So I'm going to head over to Fiverr and log in. If you don't have an account, you can quickly and easily sign up for one. So just click on the sign up button and fill out the form. And when you get in here, you're basically going to have two options. One is you can just post a request and then people will reach out to you. So if I were to click post a request, what I can do in my instance is just maybe copy the first part of the email or message that I already drew up in the last 10 minutes and put that in here, and then attach the full version along with attaching my Excel sheet, and everything's good to go. Then I could choose a category and put in blog, I believe should come up, or articles and blog. Actually, it's just writing and translation, and then articles and blogs. First one, that's probably has to be the most popular part of their site. So then I can let them know when I want this delivered. So usually 3 days. If you're not in a rush, you can do 7, and then you write in your budget on what you're willing to spend for this service. If you don't want to do that, you can actually just go search for someone who has high rankings and who you can utilize. And again, you can see it's not just authors for blog posts that you can get services for. It's pretty much anything you can think of: SEO, marketing, illustrations. Then you can go over to video and animation, so you can have people create videos for you, animated GIFs or GIFs, intros and outros for your YouTube videos, and they're all reasonably priced. What else? There's program and tech. I use this one a lot. So WordPress, web builders, and CMS, and the list goes on and on here. You can pretty much find someone to do anything for you. That's why if you can create a good process and you just start tweaking as needed, you can just utilize teams for you. And the other options, I should say, are going right to writing articles and blog posts, or I like to do this, and I suggest you do this too, is find someone that's actually passionate about your niche. So I'll put in dog blog, and in your case it would be your niche blog, and now you're going to get anyone who likes to write about pets, and this is really helpful because you're going to get better articles typically when it's about a subject that someone's related to or has a passion for. Next, I'll come over and sort by best selling, and this will just give me the people that do the most work and people who also are highly ranked. I'm going to click this. 193 ratings at 5-star, level 2, and standard pricing is 20 for 1200. This is ridiculously cheap, so I instantly question the quality, but I like to see US reviews, 5 stars, so that's good. Really nicely written, well researched, knowledgeable veterinarian, so she's a vet. That's good. So she'll have probably some really good insight. I like that. She's amazing, from Canada, very knowledgeable and easy to communicate with, understands our business needs really well, and her blogs are easy to understand. But curious what that but is. So let me come down and read the full reviews. Yeah, foundation. So that's okay. I mean, sometimes this works out, especially if you're on a budget. I typically would spend more and just not have to deal with it, but maybe in this case we'll give her a chance. She's a vet. She's got a lot of 5-star reviews, and they're from legitimate countries. Not like there's illegitimate countries out there, but I do like to see United States rankings. So here's a 3.7 star. Quick turnaround. Article will need some minor modifications. I figured that would be the case with this. I wanted to add in my own spin anyway, so it works great. That's kind of where I'm at and where you would be at. Easy communication. Work with her again. My second project. So we have a recurring customer from the States. I like that. Awesome. I mean, I'll give her a chance. That's, I mean, $50. 2,500. I'll get 500 extra words in there. Most of the articles I've seen were 1,600. I can make some tweaks in there, use Grammarly to clean it up. I'm going to show you a trick on that anyway. So there's not much work I would have to do if I wanted to, you know, just really streamline this and get it up. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and click on continue for $50. And number of words, I'll say 2,500. Delivery times in 4 days, so that's good. Extra fast, 3-day delivery, nope. References and citations, seller will add references and citations for the article. Could do that. That would make the article have a little more, you know, qualification to it. Data chart. Seller will add relevant data charts to the article. Maybe I'll do, this would save me a little time on maybe an infographic type deal. Google likes charts. I'm going to add these two and pay $60. 2,500 words. I'll have some references and citations to go with. Makes it quality because you're giving research and you're actually proving that you're researching it and not just and we'll see what we come back with, but then also adding a data chart. So these are adding a day though, so do I want to wait a day? And now it's 6 days. I'm actually going to remove that. I'd rather get it in 4 days. All right, continue to check out. Use my PayPal. Confirm and pay. And now it is going to work a little bit. And now we'll submit the requirements to start your order. So 1, the topic, main keywords, mode of writing, specific requirement about blog or article. So what I can do is go back to the draft that I have. This will maybe too long, we'll see. Throw that in there. Nope. Perfect. So we already have that drafted. 2,500. I'm going to change that too. And maybe I can make some changes to this. That would be about right. All right. So we're well on our way. This is already clear, and I'm also going to, because I do mention the fact that I have a spreadsheet attached. I believe I put something in about that. Yes, I've attached my spreadsheet for you to add copy in the appropriate places. Everything that is highlighted in yellow, I'd like to be filled in from you! Exclamation point. Please write a blog post about know what causes your dog's separation anxiety. I'm gonna change this a little bit. So I know she is from Pakistan, it looked like. I just want to be more clear, as clear as I can be when working with, there's definitely going to be somewhat of a barrier of language maybe, or clarity. So just be as, as communicate the best you can is what I would say. And now that I'm on here, I'm glad that I'm using this type of article, because a lot of you are on budgets a lot of times when starting out, or you're skeptical, and this is just a good testing. You're gonna have to test around anyway, so instead of using the writers that I always do, that I know will give me good quality, even though they're not in the dog niche, because I'm in the blogging, making money online type niche. They're obviously different style writers, so they probably wouldn't be too interested in a dog article anyway. But so please write a blog post, or please write about the following bullets or tips. Okay, so in here I say 250 words in the intro and 200 words per bullet below. Please write copy for the following tips I'd like to give my readers, and then I list them all out. And I also will include my spreadsheet. Files in use, enter a new name or close the file. I have to close it. Okay. Closed it. And there we go. Perfect. Everything's in. The information I provide is accurate and complete. And here I go. Start order. Now when I get this back, I'm going to show you exactly what that looks like. I'll show you any tweaks I may, or requests I may make for iteration, or I may, like I do many times, is just, I will make the tweaks myself through Grammarly, especially if it's not great quality. I don't want to waste a lot of time. So that's really it. So what we've done so far is we have gone ahead and we picked our topic, we've outlined it, we've created the documents around this. And again, this is the first time, guys, so don't get discouraged if you think this is a lot of work, because now going forward, the more you do this, it's like second nature. I have multiple templates that I use for multiple different types of layouts I have, and once you start using that and incorporating a process, you're going to be able to fine tune it, and it's not going to be super long every time. And granted, this has taken me, on our video, we're up to over an hour, but I've also over explained a lot of stuff like I usually do. And we've gone through the system and kind of like from scratch if we were just starting out, because that's what I like to do. I like you to see it in the right process, because I'm tired of the classes that just teach theory and they don't teach you anything really. It's all, you should do this, yeah, with no help. So I like to give the help, and hopefully you guys like to get it. And maybe if not in the next courses that I create, I take everyone's feedback and I appreciate it. So good or bad, I like to make iterations to that too. So if I'm over explaining things, if I'm going too slow, if I'm going too fast, I'm going to make adjustments for any course that I create. So let me know. All right, so we've created the outline, we've written our request out, we've written our template out for getting our content back, or copy back from the writer. Once we get that, I'm going to create another video. So the next video is going to be me receiving that content, working with the writer to get the content right, whether I do that with her or through Grammarly. And I am going to eventually use Grammarly. I'll show you that. And then once we're there, the article is going to be ready to be put on our site. So I'll do that in the video too. And then we'll launch our first blog together, which is really exciting. And then, like I said, we just go from there. And I like to do the first 3 blogs, try to piece it together, like I said, in a funnel approach. The long tail or the long form copy first, like an article like this, to a product review ranking list, to a single product review, and then just keep building upon that as you go. So unless you switch topics completely within the long form article, we want to reach out to different aspects of there. So like I said, whether we did the blankets on the template, like the top 10 blankets, we could do the top 10 medicines, the top 10, whatever we talk about within these bullets, we incorporate links into those where it's going to go to those ranking lists. And then we start tackling single products once we can look at the data and see what people are most interested in. Then we create valuable single product reviews around that. And it's just going to build into this bubble. And that's just one little topic. You know what I mean? We started with just dog anxiety and in this case, separation anxiety. So there's so much we can do. There's so much you can do, most likely in your niche. You might not be as sub niche as this. So this is good. I'll talk to you in the next video. Let me know if you have any comments, post anything on Facebook, and engage with us like usual. All right. Thanks everyone. See you in the next video.